Huh. Well, let's see. Push that. Evening, folks. How you doing? Let's see. Looking chat. It's busy. Good to see that. Good to see everyone here. I see Breathalyzer Sean, Uncle Chrome Paul. I see the man with the beard. I see Danny. I see Asaph, and looking like Miss Rogers there on the romper room. Let's see. I think Luke is in the shower. I'm not sure who else is around, and I didn't see everybody go by. But anyway, thanks everyone for coming. So, just fooling around, and a few things we'll chat about tonight. And hey, George, good to see you. Sorry I missed you in the initial happy evenings, everybody. Let's see. I hope I didn't miss anybody else. If I did, hey, Mixmaster. Yes, Romper Room indeed. Romper Stomper. Hey, Kurt, I'm sorry. I thought I saw you. Yeah, I can't remember everybody goes by, especially when I'm out jamming out. So anyway, good to see everybody. That was fun. Let's see. Well, let's go ahead and talk about what it was. And we'll just kind of mix up what it was and the stuff that I want to talk about and all that stuff at once. We'll just kind of go with the flow tonight. I do have a bunch of stuff I do want to talk about, but wow, okay. That's pretty intense, Paul. Anyway, what was in the jam? Let's talk about that. Everything's in the box tonight, and that was kind of the source of the technical malfunction at the very beginning. We'll talk about that. This is something that has developed very recently. So anyway, let's go ahead and get at what's in the jam. And like I said, everything in the box. So let's see. Let us do that. And yeah, definitely. More than just ruining TV, I would say. So anyway, like I said, we're in the DAW tonight. And let's see. First up, playing the drone, Absynth 6. Let's see. Why did it not make a noise? Oh, I know why. Because I got that silly follow the leader for the arm to track turned off. I should have turned that back on. Hey, Jeff. Good to see you. Let's see. So anyway, the drone business. And so tonight's stuff will be a mixture of my own patches or my own presets and factory stuff, depending on just what I found that struck my fancy. I've been playing a lot with Absynth over the past few days, and we'll talk about some stuff with Absynth that I found. Some things that a little surprising, and a little things that aren't surprising. So anyway, we'll talk about that. Generally speaking, though, absolutely digging Absynth because I always did. You know, this is one of those things that I've had, as I've said, pretty much since the beginning. I'm very happy with it, except, and we'll talk about those exceptions in a little bit. So, and like I say, Luke, I'll get to my disappointments, or not really disappointment, but my disappointments in a few minutes. Just some little niggly problems. And they're nothing new, so that's what's disappointing. So anyway, also up in the jam, another Absynth sequence, and this is being fired by the new version of Stepic, which I haven't had a lot of time to fool with yet. That's interesting. Oh, it's because I'm only doing. Oh, I didn't even turn all the patch on. Look at that. So the ARP was Stepic driving, the new version of Stepic driving this part of this patch in Absynth. So anyway, that was that. And let's see. So some other. Also in the jam, a couple patch or a patch from Zebra 3, and not a very fancy one. Doesn't really need to be. Just doing this atmospheric kind of high pad that snuck in and out a little bit during the jam here and there. I really like in Zebra 3. I'll say that for now. We'll talk more about it later and in future episodes. So that's doing that thing, and then in Zebra Let, I've got this bass line. Oh, I forgot to mention back here in the Zebra patch, I've got that running through the new Dawson / Signs of Life reverb echo thing. Of course, I'm not on that track, but anyway, that's providing the reverb on that track. So anyway, back to Zebra Let, Stepic driven, and this one is just a factory patch with maybe a couple of slight tweaks to it. And the percussive stuff back to my old friend was session percussionist, but instead of using a flat out stock rhythm, I was moving back and forth between various parts. Let's see, we had this part. Oops. So soul is, yeah, it's an acquired taste. There are things I like about it, things I don't. It's definitely got a sound. You know, it's definitely crisp. I have grabbed Temperance Light. I talked about that the other day. So anyway, just bits and pieces from this. Instead of doing the whole, usually I would grab a whole sequence or you know, come down here, excuse me, down here and just let it do the whole thing. And it's definitely capable, but I didn't think all of it fit with the rest of the vibe. So I just grabbed this part, and I think a little bit of this one, and up here, was it? Yeah, some of the finger snaps, and a little bit of this. So anyway. Zebra 3 does have built-in reverb. We'll do a real. I'll give you the penny tour because you know it's yeah, it's deep. I'll say that. Hey Jack, good to see you. Let's see, Man with the Beard is here. Also good to see you. So anyway, that, and also the last thing in the jam, and what caused my little bit of a malfunction before we started, I hadn't picked a lead part before I went live, and I figured I'd do it kind of by the seat of my pants. So I loaded up multi-poly, and multi-poly has suddenly gotten really sluggish. And I'm not sure why. And I'm not the only one who's experienced this. Now, I was having it just with the VST3, so I switched over to the audio units version, and now it's really sluggish too. So I'm not sure what's up with that. But the lead was this. And this is an original, one of my recitation series of patches or presets for multi-poly. Maybe someday I'll put together a whole package of them and finish up some more and release them. We'll see. So anyway, that was what was in the jam. And let's get to talking, because, you know, I don't know if Jeff is streaming tonight, but either way, I've got, well, I've got work. So the first couple of weeks of being retired have been very busy, which is good and bad. I'm actually surprised at how busy I have been right out of the box. Well, that'll probably fall off because I'm burning through with one of my clients. I'm burning through a. Oh, that's not good. And we're still having technicals. All right, I've lost Stream Deck because this computer over here has died. Yay! That's not good. It shut down. Pretty cool. All right. Anyway, let's see. Let's go to. Fortunately, I still have manual control of things, and I can still drive without the Stream Deck running if I need to. What I don't know is where that's going to leave me in my script for actually running the show. So that could be interesting towards the end. Yeah, it died completely. Cool. All right, so I have no Stream Deck control. Such fun. All right, anyway, let's see. Looking at chat. Okay, let's see. I was talking about my retirement work. So anyway, half of last week I was on working with a customer or with a client, and I've got a couple days booked up this week as well. So anyway, busier than I expected, and that kind of bodes well for the whole retirement thing in some way, shape, or form. Let me see if I can get. Oh, we will have lost chat too. Oops, Stream Deck is back. Let's see if I can get chat back. Stand by here, folks. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay. All right, chat should be back. Let's see. At least my computer does just. Okay, so Stream is back, or chat is back. Stream Deck is back. Good. Okay, we missed a couple things in the chat, I think. Let's see. Yeah, chat froze. No stream for Jeff. Okay. It's not a matter of hungry, because it was perfectly zippy, Jeff. But for some reason, it just became sluggish, and there's not been any particular update or anything that I see. Oh, good. The script picked up where it's supposed to. Good. That's good to know. So anyway, let's see. That is one of the things, Luke, that one of the reasons that I have different functions on different computers, because that way, if chat dies, or if this computer goes down, I lose chat and Stream Deck, and and the way we have things set up right now, if my chat goes down and Jeff's system is up, he can actually pick up the chat server for me. And by the same token, as if his chat craps out and he lets me know, I can pick up chat for him from here. So if my computer's working. So, we've kind of got this, and we put that together for the for some of the live jams that we were doing, so we could have shared chat. But that allows me to jump on. It allows him to pick up my chat server if need be, which is pretty cool. So anyway, so we've got that redundancy kind of built in. I don't know. I would have to change where I'm picking up chat from, though, which would be kind of a pain in the butt because that's on a headless machine. But it's not that it couldn't be done. I'd have to just pull it up on air and do it. Yeah, nerd. Exactly, Luke. That's exactly what it is. So anyway, yeah, lots of nerdy stuff. So anyway, we're back and things are working again. I'm gonna have to. It's an old machine, so we shall see how much longer it survives around here. I've got more. I just don't have more machines that can run current versions of operating systems. So anyway. Let's see. Let's take a look at some things that I've talked about in the past couple weeks. As I said already, in answer to Paul's question, yes, I did pick up at least the light version of Temperance. I decided that for now, I'm not going to buy the full version. The free version is pretty cool. It's cool enough. I also don't know how much I'm actually going to use it, even though it is cool. So we'll see. If I start to use it a lot, if I start to use it a lot, then maybe I'll pick up the full version, but not high on my list right now. I also decided against buying Waldorf's Microwave 1 plugin. As much as I like the sound of it, and also as much as I like the sound of the Protein, I don't think I need it right now. Maybe later, but not right now. Yeah, Paul, it's not like it's crippled, it's just cut back. Like you said, not as many IRs, not as many controls, but it still sounds great. We've only got the free version only has three IRs, and I don't know how many there are in the pro version. A bunch. So anyway, back to stuff that I decided not to buy or not to buy. I'm kind of holding on. One of the reasons I didn't buy Microwave is because I have their PPG Wave 3V plugin, but I've got the older version. I think I talked about last week or the week. I think it was last week I talked about it. It's not resizable. So if I put it up on the screen, it's this little tiny window. And PPG Wave is not an easy thing to program as it is. So I don't know how much I'm going to use it. If I decide I start wanting to use it, then I'll go ahead and I'll just update that. The sound is still basically the same. It's just that the Microwave is a little more convenient to do sound design in. That's all. But the sound is basically the same. Also decided that I'm not going to buy Future Verb from Valhalla. And I just, it doesn't, it sounds great, but it doesn't do enough different for me to make the purchase worthwhile at this time. Maybe later, don't know. So anyway, that's that. That's the catch up on stuff I didn't buy. Let's talk about stuff I did buy. So as you know, I did a stream on, what was it, Tuesday last week, whatever day it was, an extra stream with Absynth, and I unfortunately did not have as much time in the last week to mess with software as I had wanted. Socks. I got plenty of socks. So anyway, but I've run into I've been making sounds and having a great time refamiliarizing myself with Absynth. Um, some thoughts. It's as good as I remember it being sonically. It is in some ways, I think, maybe even better than I remember it sonically. Let's go ahead and get some background noise going here. Um, I don't know, and I don't know if it's necessarily actually better, or if it's me just digging back in and discovering things again. Um, there's always been stuff in Absynth that just, it's hard to describe. It's not that it's necessarily undoable in other instruments and other VSTs, but Absynth makes it easy. It kind of broke it. Well, it is the mold that many other VSTs were born from, and yeah, I saw that, Jeff. I haven't had time to play with it. It's just, or I haven't even had time to download it. It's just like, so much. The last 2 weeks, it's just been like everyone has thrown things at us, and it's just so much so fast that I just, I had to pick my battles and pick what I was going to keep up with. And my battles were Absynth and some more that we'll get to. I am really disappointed in the Absynth community. For years, we asked for very specific things from Native Instruments, and we, and in what was it, 2022, I guess it was. And I just said, we don't think we can do this. We can't support this going forward into more modern operating systems. It would just be too much to undertake to make it modern, make it work, all those things. But the community listed a half a dozen or so things that, if you could just do this, we'd be happy. We'd be thrilled if you could just do these little things. And so Native Instruments brought Brian back in, and they did a thing. They gave us a beautiful new version of Absynth. Now, the biggest things, I guess, about it are that it let's do that. They've cleaned up the interface. The interview was excellent. It really was. And there was also a video with Brian just going through the new version and playing with it. I guess it was about a 15 or so minute video, 15, 20 minutes. And you can just tell how tickled he is with the software, with how much easier it is to get around, with how much more fun it is to work with. He realized that the interface had gotten out of date and clunky, and sure, I mean, at the time it was kind of sort of earth shattering. It was, we'd never seen anything like that before. So they fixed the interface. They made it such that you could fairly easily create really complex, really cool sounds. And they updated the underpinnings so it's fast and it's stable. And they gave us, one of the things that people wanted was to be able to modulate or control various parameters, either through hardware or through modulation in the DAW. And he gave us all the stuff we asked for, and then some. And people have been bitching about it. And I'm like, really, people? It's just like, So they brought it back, which we were crying about, and they fixed it, and we're still and they're committing to doing more to it, and people are bitching, and that just pisses me off. For me, coming back, it was an instant buy, and I mean, just click, send it over now. And I don't know. I don't know why people are so torqued off. But anyway, tremendous amount of work went into it to make it compatible with new operating systems, new hardware, and bring it up to VST3 and all this stuff, and people aren't happy. And I don't know. It was the beginning of a disheartening week worth of stuff, But anyway, I'm happy with it. I love it. I did a video. I think I listed it down below. Yeah, you're right, Danny. And it's not just it's in every group. The photographers do it, the artists do it, everyone does it. Well, so that's one of my gripes. I'm not really gripes. I think I like the design of the interface, but yeah, I think it's a little too dark. It'd be nice to be able to at least choose colors and brightness levels. That said, they redesigned the interface, which means they have a structure for the UI. And so if you have a structure for the UI, then doing things like skinning becomes relatively simple. I'm not going to say simple, because nothing is simple in programming, but relatively simple. So yeah, it'd be a matter of referencing an external table, and you can populate the table with different themes and blah blah blah. Go, So they could certainly probably do that with relative ease. One of let's see. While we're at it though, let's go ahead and talk about a couple of other little bugs or oversights that I've come up with. So I've done a few of my own presets in it so far, and this being one of them. The one you're listening to now is one of them. And when I made this thing and I saved it, and when I recalled it later, after doing some other stuff, it didn't sound quite like I remembered it. And I don't know if there's some little, stuff not getting written the way it should be to the file, or what, or it's also entirely possible. Sometimes this mouse, this is the Apple Magic Mouse. It's the one I've had since 2009 when I got my iMac. Sometimes I get in little fights with the trackpad on the top of this thing, so it's entirely possible that when I was saving, I changed a value. So I'm not going to necessarily throw that at NI and a problem with the plugin unless I see it happening a lot, in which case I will definitely report it as a bug. The other problem that I have, and this is not specific just to Absynth. This is kind of sort of this occurs in a number of their plugins. For whatever reason, because of the way they do their preset storage, when I store a new preset in Absynth, I can't enter any metadata. The only way to set the author name is to set it as the default author for all presets for all new presets in the program. I don't necessarily have so much of a problem with that, but I can't do anything like I can't categorize it. I can't any of the other metadata that I might want, notes like what the various macros do, that kind of thing. I can't do. And this has been a problem with Native Instruments instruments for some time. It happens in with instruments in Contact and also in Reactor. It's just, they're major platforms. I don't know if it's in Massive or Massive X or not. So preset designers, and I've been talking a lot over the last year or so with the folks at Ocean Swift. Preset designers have a different set of tools that allows them to put things into packs and categorize and put in the various metadata. But those tools aren't available to regular end users. You have to be one of their developers to get that. And I really think that needs to be, when you hit save as, or to either do a new patch or save an existing patch, or save as a new patch, or save a new patch in whatever way you do it, there needs to be something that comes up where I can optionally go ahead and tick off the boxes. Now, I do know that they are working out some sort of method for that to happen, to some of that to happen automatically, where it'll analyze the preset and kind of make it fall into appropriate categories. But while they're working on that, give us the tools, because we also may want to override what it comes up with. So to me, it's an annoyance. And I've I've opened up the files in an editor, and you can't stuff it in yourself. Korg has done a great job with they've done an excellent job with both their plugins and with the editors for the hardware for at least the Pi Korgs. I'm trying to remember. I did most of my sound design on the Kronos itself, because the app was antique and was dreadful. But I think I could do pretty much whatever I wanted to as far as that goes, as far as categorizing and naming and whatever. The Kronos was pretty deep, but yeah, the new Korg R&D synths are fantastic about that. I gotta say, the Kronos was an old synth. I mean, it was introduced first in 2011, so there was a lot of it did a lot for then, and still does do a lot. Although I think the new version its game could have been stepped up a little more than it was. But I've already talked about that. Not going to dwell on that. See, that's kind of neat that Danny, that the way the log stuff allows you to move stuff around. I really think they nailed it with that as well. The ability to do your own or a third-party oscillator in a synth like the monologue or the mini log or the drum log or any of that series, even the NTS1, to be able to do your own oscillators and your own effects and your own engines in those synths is just amazing. Very, very cool. Something I'm not going to do because I really don't want to be programming. I want to be sound designing. I love doing sound design, but I don't want to be a programmer again. Never want to see that again in my life. So anyway, that's kind of what I had, on Absynth. Like I said, I did a video about it midweek. I will certainly do more videos on Absynth, because it's old home week for me. You know, and as much as they've improved it, as much as they've upgraded it, it's still familiar territory. But now it's like, you know, one thing I just love about this thing. Let's we'll go ahead and look at it. I love the envelope editor. I don't think there's a better one out there, honestly. This business of being able to apply an LFO to an envelope and different amounts of envelope and morphing between those amounts per segment in the envelope is just a blast. I'm looking at no, Mike, they're not too high, and you know, that's what I don't want to hear. You know, that's what pisses me off. You know, and you know, $99 for an upgrade of any magnitude is really not bad at all. You know, the bigger bargain is to wait until they put it into complete, if you're in the complete platform, and buy the whole thing then, because you'll get a whole bunch of stuff. But you know, no, $99 for an upgrade, which is, you know, so much had to be written. No, it's not too much. And $200 for it new is also not too much. And you know, I don't care if I piss you off about that. This is the way I feel about it. You know, and you know, he caught the same crap with members of the community about Zebra 3. You know, I just, you know, I'm, yeah. Anyway, that's a button with me. It's been pressed. You know, you can thumbs down me all you want. I really don't care. Anyway, if you don't like it, if you don't like the upgrade, don't buy it. If you don't like Absynth, don't buy it. That's what I have to say about it. But don't piss on the cornflakes. Anyway, moving on. I think this is one of the neatest. Was always one of the coolest things, and they've made it easy and now easy and approachable. And the modulation through here is just wonderful. And the fact, you can just open up a new envelope pretty much anytime you want. I don't know if there's a limit on the number of envelopes you can create. I just, every time I want to modulate something, I just make a new envelope. I would like to be able to do maybe more LFOs, straight LFOs, but the envelopes can be looping envelopes, so I guess it doesn't really matter. But like I said, I would be able to do a little more with LFOs. But that's, you know, you have 3. You can route them all over the crazy place. Have I turned green? No, I'm not green. Red, maybe. Anyway, Absynth is green. So anyway, you have 3 LFOs, and you can do a myriad of stuff with them. But I would like a couple more. Just, you know, like I said, we'll dive more into it. I see where you're going, Danny. Bill Bixby, I'm not. Anyway, I like Bill Bixby better than My Favorite Martian. So anyway, that's all I'm going to do about Absynth tonight. Like I said, I love the upgrade. I love what they've done. I think it's worth $99 as an upgrade any day of the week. You know, so there it is. We'll be talking more about Absynth, like I talk more about everything, and we'll talk about more of talking in a bit. I want to talk about Zebra, though. Let's get Soul out of the way. Yeah, Eddie's father. That's right. That's right. So Zebra is a thing. I don't know that I had initially intended to buy Zebra, but I did go ahead and I pre-ordered. I signed up in the beta, so I'm into it. Let me press a button or two here. This is a thing, and I will say that I've only played with it a little bit. This particular patch is, let's see, Origins of the Sun. This is not one of mine. I haven't saved any of the things that I've done, I don't think. If I'm going to do, let's see, presets. Did I save any of mine? Down here to user land, wherever the heck that is. User. No, I haven't saved any of my own yet, and that's fine. They weren't. I played with it, and I voted it the synth most likely to make a strange sound. I want to back up the native instruments in a minute too, but I kind of got ahead of myself here in the script. This is a lot of fun, though. It's deep, but not ridiculously so. It's complex, but not ridiculously so. Everything makes sense. This is a beautifully designed synthesizer, and like I said, I've just started fooling around with it, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time. But man, it sounds great, and so I don't know how long the pre-order price is. The beta is you can sign up for the beta for free. You don't have to pay any money to sign up for the beta, and my understanding is that the beta will be in force for some number of months. We're not going to rush here. We've only spent 13 years or something like that to getting to this point, so we're not going to rush. There won't be any rushing going on. And the discount, I don't know. I don't know if there's a date on it or not. So Danny, I don't know a lot about Zebra. I never paid a whole lot of attention to Zebra 2. While we're talking, I'm looking up. I'm going to Yuhi's. Well, see, the thing is, the Yuhi site, there's really nothing on about the pre-order or anything on the actual Yuhi site. There's a KVR forums post where everything's listed, and that's linked below, by the way. They don't say, let's see, pre-order is 179 euros. But he doesn't say how long that's good for. And in the interview, or the intro video / interview, he also said he didn't know how long that was going to be yet. But there was, again, out in the community, there were people being, idiots, and that pissed me off. And ultimately, that's why I said, you know what? I'm going to put all this other purchase stuff on hold. And put everything else on hold and go ahead and pick this up. Yeah, it was 179 euros. The full price is 279 euros or something like that. So it was after tax. It was a little over after sales tax and whatnot. It was 209 US or something like that from me. Your mileage will vary because they do collect, because the sales are through a US, for US customers anyway, the sales are through a US based licensing sales thing, and so you have to pay. So they collect and manage the sales tax and whatever else needs to be done for them. The other thing they're talking about is these new license cards thing instead of their old licensing scheme, and they're going to be moving all of their stuff to this new licensing card thing, which is really a coded PNG file, basically, that you load into the software, and the software interprets the PNG file. It's I don't know exactly how it works. It's pretty slick though, and the one thing that it does do is, no, it's not that. It's not an NFT. One thing that it does do is allow for, or will do, is allow for license transfers to be handled without having to go through the 5 email exchange that you have to go through now. Like I sold my copy of Diva to another forum member, or another Discord member, and basically it was five emails back and forth between me and Yuhi to get it done. I mean, it went right through, but it was back and forth. You got to confirm this. Are you really doing this? Blah, 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 blah. I don't know. I hate iLok. I've always hated iLok. And I don't like storing all my licenses on someone else's cloud. And the management of my licenses on someone else's cloud, because I know you can get the thumb drive, the little thumb drive thing. I've got a 20-year-old USB iLok stick downstairs that's got a few licenses on it, and I actually moved them all to the cloud. But I hate, because I don't, one day that USB stick is going to die. But if Pace Technologies goes away, then my licenses are lost. But yes, agreed. Changing computers is okay. We're going to deauthorize this computer. We're going to authorize the new one. Boom, Or if you've got the thumb drive, you just pull it out, stick it in the other computer. I get the convenience of it. I just worry about that third-party thing being in there to manage it. They're not the only one that I worry about. I mean, there's a bunch of these kind of licensing schemes where your licenses are stored elsewhere, and if they go belly up, you've lost your license. So it's well, and it is. I like systems where you can deauthorize something that doesn't exist anymore. Computer crashes. With some software, you have to actually say, "Hey, you have to write the manufacturer said, "Hey, my computer died. I need a new serial. I need a new hardware challenge code. I need a new. I need my serial number assigned to this new challenge code." That's BS too. Don't say they can't. Don't say never. It's like, there's lots of things that we never thought would happen that have happened, both good and bad. So, I'm leery of that kind of thing. Give me something that I can manage myself. That said, I got all my passwords in a password, in a couple of different password management systems, because I can't remember all these stupid passes, all these stupid passwords. Node locked licensing that's the, there's a lot of better technologies out there. You know, there's a lot. God, I hope it's not Avid, mix master, because you know, if anyone's going to buy, if anyone's heavily invested in iLok and Pace, it is Avid, and that's a company that'll, anything they take and buy, they just screw up royally. I guess I've been around long enough to see things that rarely go away a lot. I just, you know, I get a little nervous. So anyway, let's talk about stuff that's more fun, like software and stuff that makes noises. You know, I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to go into a lot of depth on this, but you know, people complain. There were people apparently bitching that the user interface is what it is. You know, and I will agree that part of it's a lot weird. Like we have our oscillators and modifiers here on, and some of our modifiers here on the left. We have two noise oscillators in this, one in channel 1, one in channel 2, and they're stacked here. And then the compressor, or the what is this thing? The comb filters that they're running through are stacked below them. And it's just like the order of things becomes kind of weird. You have to understand the matrix over here and kind of sort of disregard what's going on over here in some extent, once you've, except for setting up modulation pathways and, you know, adjusting the oscillator or adjusting the filter, you know. So, and then your modulators end up over here on the right, and your matrix is all down here. And there's other stuff that goes on down here, like you have it in performance mode so that you can say where your mod wheel and your pitch bend are mapped, and you have 4 macros you can do. You know, so, and then a whole bunch of other, you know, modulation, source, destination things going on down here. Routing is easy. Basic modulation routing is easy. But there are things you can do up in here, like you get all these toys to drop into these lanes. Like if I want to put another oscillator in this thing, we can grab an oscillator and drop it, whoops, up there. And so now it's just in the line, you know, and I can say I want this to be a wavetable oscillator. And then I can get into looking at oscillator 3 and starting to mess with the wavetable, which right now is just a very simple, oops, missed. Let's see. Oh, go into the pen tool, and now I can you know, design the wavetable, you know, to my heart's content. And you know, I can say I want to make another space in the wavetable. You know, I can just click in there. Where is it? I was doing this the other day. There we go. So we add another curve, and I'm now at this point, and I can edit this thing, and you know, it's got one of these wonky editor things you can bend and tug, and you know, there's all these different shapes and things that you can add. A lot of fun, a lot of cool stuff. And then we can move the position through the wavetable and, you know, all that kind of stuff. Regular wavetable stuff. And this is fully drag and drop, you know, as far as that goes. I for whatever reason, SynthMaster doesn't, and I get why people like it, but it and I don't get along. I tried it some time ago. You know, I don't, for whatever reason, you know, different strokes, basically. So, you know, this to me is making sense. Like I said, I'm still just learning it. But I can modulate the position in, let's see, I can modulate the position in the thing here. I think this is the pitch curve morph is what I'm, or is it position? Curve morph is what I want to mess with. If I want to stick an LFO on, stick this LFO on it, I grab it here, I stick that there. Now where this kind of gets out of whack is that now I have to go to somewhere else to start saying how the LFOs work. But you know, that's there is a modulation page for that, which I can't remember where it is at the moment. Like I said, been playing with this for, I got 2 hours here, you know. And there's a full, oh, it's down here in the matrix. So this last thing that we added was this guy. I think that was it. So let's see, source. Nope, that's not. Where did it end? Where did it end up? Did it end up down here? Yes, there. Sometimes I noticed a few little things that get weird with that, with this thing, with the way this works. I'm not sure what's going on, but again, I'm just learning. So you know, as I get a little more familiar, I'll start doing some videos. Let's see. Well, let's just go ahead and put it in here. We'll do this, and I'll say it's going to. There. Oh, I should have stuck it there, I guess. And then I can say how much. And so if I play this, oops, I'm on the wrong. Here we go. That should be it. Oh, I got the wrong thing. I got to turn that follow the active track thing back on from that. There we go. Well, VCV free is free all the time. The pro version is not free. You know. So anyway, if you're going to complain about price, don't do it here. Okay, do it somewhere else. It's really not what this is about. You know, I've said I've said my piece on that. You know, people make their living doing this stuff. And that's it. People have to make their living. They have to pay their employees. They have to keep their lights on. Running a business is very expensive. People who don't run businesses just don't know what the hell they're talking about. If I were going to go, and Jeff makes me buy things too. I don't want to hear this from you, Jeff. Jeff made me spend a lot of money I wasn't going to spend. Where is it? Where's the button? Let's see. I need the button for this. I want to show you what Jeff made me buy. You know, daggone it. It's going over there. Jeff made me buy this. I wasn't going to buy this. Jeff made me do it. Anyway. Oh my, I'm having fun, guys. I am having fun, even when people do torque me off. So if I were going to go the soft, and I did it for a short while. I had said that, you know, for me, modular in software was going to be Reactor, and I think we're going to have to gang up on him for that, Luke. But we're going to get him to buy Omnisphere. Although, you know, I honestly honestly think that this is more that Zebra is more up Jeff's alley, to be honest with you. Omnisphere is fantastic, and I love it, and I've got some ideas about where Omnisphere is, definitely where Omnisphere is going to live in my world. And we've talked about this a little bit. We're going to talk more about it going forward. But Zebra's very technical, and Jeff's a very technical kind of guy. And I think Zebra 3 would be more up his alley than Omnisphere overall. Absynth is also very technical, and I think right up Jeff's alley. So, and so Jeff has almost spent as much money as on my recommendations than I've spent on his. So he's got at least one more thing to buy. So I think to be even. So Omnisphere's got a ton of patches, but it's a different kind of thing. So anyway, enough of this silliness. If I were going to go, I think in rethinking a lot of things about modular in software, especially now that 4MS I think it is, has come out with a Eurorec module supported. I think VCV, the Pro version of VCV, and its available add-ins is the meta module. That starts to bridge this really interesting gap. I doubt that you'll see me get a meta module at least anytime in the near future. But I think the concept of being able to design your rack I as you know, I like designing sounds and designing things in software, and then possibly moving them to hardware for playing. Now my setup here with the with the Control S now is scratches that itch enough for me, especially as Native Instruments bring it up to speed and other software starts to get on board, so to speak. I've got great control over both the DAW and the plugins now. I can tell with compatible stuff, I can tell it easily, what to control. And so, I guess like an ultimate Korg native. Yeah, I do like, so I do and I don't with that, Luke, because I don't like the way that Korg implemented that fully. We can go into, if I want to design a sound on the multi-poly, for instance, that's interesting. Oh, because I had it live. So if I want to design a sound in here, I can go ahead and edit to my heart's content and do all kinds of great stuff. Make a great stuff. I love this sound. This is the Recitation series. I'm really happy with it. I think I'm gonna build a whole family of them. I've started to. So I love this. This was fun to build. It's got a great analog feel to the sound. It's really. And working with WaveState and its native version, and working with ModWave and the native version, and working with Op6 and the native version is really, really a fun way to build sounds. But as Luke says, patch transfer is hacky. Patch transfer is bad. I'm just going to say that, because you have to export this thing out, your sound out of this. I'm pointing at the screen. You have to export out of this, import it into the editor librarian software, and use that to transfer it into the hardware. And going back the other way is a problem, honestly, because you can't fully export a preset from multi-poly specifically. I don't know about the others because I haven't gotten into this fight yet, but I can't fully export a preset from multi-poly if I've added custom wavetables. I can't export that thing. So if I build it in the hardware, first, I can't get it back. I've got several presets I can't run on the software. I have to run them in the hardware, and there's no. I've asked. I've asked, and there's just been no answer. No answer. So it shouldn't be a big deal to say in this patch uses these wavetables, export them as part of the patch. As Paul said, it's been solved. Other stuff does it. So anyway, that's my gripe with the Korg stuff. But I love the software. That said, as I mentioned, this, for whatever reason, in the last week, the multi-poly specifically, the software has gotten, it lags. It's what was screwing me up at the beginning of the night. I didn't have it loaded. I didn't have a sound loaded. I was just going to pick something on the fly because it's always gone very smoothly. And it seems to have yeah, it's probably the only one I'm going to keep, Danny. Maybe. It's very strange. I don't know what the deal is, but I'm not the only one having a problem. And tonight was the first night I've had a problem with the audio units version. I loaded it specifically because the VST version gets slow. So I gotta say, as far as in the past, I've had lots of dealings with Korg. I've been using Korg. My first hardware synthesizer was a Korg. And that was, well, I'm old, and it was a long time ago. I mean, I think I was working for American Airlines when I bought the first one. So that would have been 88. Something like that. I've had a dozen different Korg hardware synths between then and now. I have been on the phone, and you can read them up. You can read about them on the website. I've only had one that I hated. All the rest of them I've really liked in one way or another. And none of them have been perfect, but I've really liked Korg's as a whole. And I've never had a problem with Korg support. until trying to get an answer about the moving patches around on the R&D synths, on the Pi Korgs. I get, very quick responses, very quick answers, and and it's always been my results with Korg have always been very, very positive. Even when I even had them help me sort out. It's where I learned about the problems with their Windows MIDI driver and how to fix it. Years ago, how to fix that problem. They finally have gotten the Korg MIDI driver under control for Windows 11. And honestly, the MIDI driver issue is not Korg's problem. It's not Korg's fault. It's the way Windows handles USB MIDI. Once you get that squared away, and once I learned that, it became fairly easy to manage. But anyway, people gripe about Native Instruments support. I have always had wonderful results with them. I've been working with Native Instruments. Let's see, since Reactor and Absynth were new. So, anytime I have a question, I get a response. If I try to ask a question right around a major release time, I may have to wait a couple days. But if it's just regular time, sometime in the out in the when nothing else is going on, I ask a question, I get an answer like right then, and it's usually the right answer. So anyway, let's see what else is on the list for tonight. That's pretty much it. I had put in the show notes on YouTube that I wanted to try and talk about some possible clarity about what I want to do now that I'm going to have possibly more time. How I want to kind of sort of reshape my YouTube channel and my website a little bit. I still want to continue something every Monday night. I've been threatening for some time though to start adding more content, and I still don't know exactly what that looks like, but I'll look for input from the masses here. More trains will be on the trains channel. That's a different channel, Jeff. Okay, more train. Well, so I'll put some more time into the trains channel. There is you can link it from a couple different places. Let's see. Appreciate what you were saying before. Thank you, Sean. Lost my train of thought. Ha ha ha. Yeah, let's do. I definitely want get that scheduled again. Some other things that I'd like to start getting going again, and this is with Jeff and some other folks too, is get those monthly live jams going again. Those were a lot of fun. Hey, Jack. Let's see if we could only pick one, Absynth or Zebra 3. So I am biased, Jack. And so I would say Absynth, but I'm very biased, and Absynth is very near and dear to my heart. I've had Absynth at some level since version 1, and there's one thing that I say periodically when people say Absynth sounds like whatever, and really it's whatever sounds like Absynth. That's really the way it boils down. because Absynth was out and doing the things that Absynth did, and has done for over 20 years, 22 years or something like that now. And so, good. Thanks, Danny. That might work better. Just have to start getting scheduling worked out. So it's, and it's, I would say, it's a new classic now. It is a classic, and there are things that you can do easily in Absynth that I don't think you can do in anything else, honestly. Let's see. Yeah, well, that's the other thing too, Sean. You're right. It's very subjective. Some of it. There are things. Jeff, are you streaming tonight? I'm sorry, because I'm still rambling on here. I didn't notice if you'd put up an event for tonight or not. Oh no, you said you weren't. I think you said you weren't. Anyway, no stream. Thank you for reminding. So here, looking at this, the feature of other people is like, why do you need MIDI control mapping at the patch level? Well, and that's what people are griping about in Absynth, about not being able to run a modulation route to every single little knob and button in the system, in the thing. Honestly, at least I don't think you need that. If you've got it was modulation, external modulation in previous versions of Absynth either didn't work at all or was minimal. We've got 20 modulations pathways now in and out of Absynth, or into Absynth. It's I don't know, and it's quickly, let's see, it just, here's another thing. This is not let's see, let me get do I have the right down shot here? Let me punch up, where is it, cam 2-1. So I think I showed this during the stream on Absynth itself, but I am not running Absynth inside of complete control. Absynth was not advertised as being an NKS2 being NKS2 like Contact is. So I've got, I don't have any of them. I don't have any of them defined in this patch yet, but I've got 16 macros and 4 other control and 4 hardware controls that are mappable to anything I want within the synth. And they just appear. Now I'm using this is the Native Instruments Control S controller, but right now it is in the what I'll call generic mode for looking at macros or looking at synth parameters. So basically anything I tell the synth to make available to the DAW shows up here. If it shows up here, it would be available on pretty much any other controller. If I had my my Arturia here, if I had the that here, I would I'd be able to control these same things. So this is This is what people wanted. It's what people asked for, and that's what they got. And they're complaining. But anyway, so as far as that control, it's here. You have to map it, but it's here. You have to make decisions about what you want to be able to hit from your controller. All right, if you want to do that, fine. If I'm going to have several hundred controls coming out to the computer, wipe or out to hardware, then you got to build some sort of horrifically expensive controller to drive it. It's like. So anyway, that's enough. I would love to have some conversation about what folks would like to see here. Obviously, it's my channel. I'll do what I want. More trains can appear on the trains channel as I get stuff dealt with downstairs. The basement is a disaster, and that's where the trains live. So I've got to de-disasterize the basement some. One of the byproducts of closing down the company is that there's stuff, as I'm dragging stuff out, deciding what's being kept, what's gotten rid of, paperwork, filing, all that kind of stuff. There is crap everywhere. Okay, check. Cool. That's the so the trick with that, being able to see new stuff in hands, is I have to be able to buy it or get it somehow. The basement is a disaster. That could be. We'll have maybe I'll just do a live cam out of the basement, and you can see the mess down there. It's just crap everywhere. Have it given its own channel. Anyway, so anyway, that's another. I'm one thing I will say. I want to be concentrating more on music stuff, art stuff. I guess the model trains isn't art, so you might start to see some photography content again. I don't know. We'll see. But primarily, this is going to be. I want this to be music. Constant live cam watching the basement. Slowly good. That could be. Maybe for both for people and for me. I saw that on the schedule, Paul. Looking forward to some of that. I wanted to talk to you about some of the streaming stuff on yesterday, but anyway, let's see. Looking at chat. Last week was reply. Plan to dump. Okay. Yeah, I am too, Luke, and I've got a. I made you buy Zebra. I'm an influencer now. But anyway. So anyway, as far as wanting to see new stuff underhand, as I'm becoming a retiree, my budget is shrinking. So we'll have to come up with some way to do that, because I love playing with new stuff. So let's see what we can see, if something can be worked out. Anyway, that's going to do it for me tonight. I'll kick up the tracks again and noodle a little bit. I appreciate everyone coming, and appreciate the conversation, and see how many people I pissed off. But what the heck. I got fired up. So anyway, you all have fun. Thank you all again for coming. We'll do this again next week, I think. You're quite welcome, Jack. I enjoy doing it. I wouldn't do this if I weren't having fun, to be honest with you. So anyway, that is going to probably be the end of it for tonight. Appreciate everyone being here. Thanks, guys. See y'all later.